Hi, welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial, we are creating a beautiful mixed media Christmas tag. As you can see, I traced my free template on to a 2mm Greyboard, cut it out and primed my base on both sides with white primer to protect it. I'll be using Stamperia's Silent Night die cuts. As you can see, I've chosen Santa as my focal point and a few other matching elements to layer. I'll also be using this new deer stencil to add some interest and texture to my background. Let's start painting our base with some aviation blue and white paint. I'm just mixing them together, darker at the top and lighter towards the bottom. I want it to look like a sky and snow at the bottom of our tag. As you can see, I'm just adding more white at the bottom of our tag to look like snow. Here I'm trying to look like make them look like clouds. Okay, just add some interest. Adding more white, and I'm just placing Santa to see if he looks good against the background. Next, I'm adding water splatters to my background. Here's a close-up of my background. Now I'm going to use stamps to add interest to my blue background. They're from the Dewdrops collection. I'm also using black permanent ink, perfect for mixed media. It doesn't smudge. Here I'm adding text around the tag. Just add wherever you want it. Now I'm using another stamp set from the Dewdrops collection. It's called Bird Nest, and I'm using the word wishes. I'm going to add it around the edges of my tag. I just want to remind you here that you can download my free template from my Ko-fi shop. It includes a reference photo, a product list, and the printable tag. 2 PDFs in A4 size and letter size. I also decided to add a branch stamp around the edges again to add more interest. There's no right or wrong. Do whatever looks good to you. I just thought adding the branch. I'm also going to add some circles. Now I'm adding Santa in the middle again to see how he looks against the background. Here you can see that I'm adding the circles around the edges. It's from the Element stamps from the Dewdrops collection. I use this stamp set a lot for my backgrounds. Now let's add some texture using volume paste and our deer stencil. Just using my spatula to spread the volume paste, being careful not to lift up the stencil. I love how it's looking. The trees look fantastic against the blue background. Next, I'm going to add splatters using white paint and lots of water. Now I'm going to add more white paint to the bottom of my tag so it can look like snow, and adding more at the edges. And I'm also going to add at the top of my tag so it can look like snow too, right there. I think that looks really great. And now I'm going to take a dry baby wipe and dab it lightly to blend it into my background. That looks good. And now I'm going to add more splatters, and I decided to add a little color with green paint to my snowy trees. Not a lot, just a little color and a few light splatters. I really like this stencil with a deer. I'll be making more projects with it, like a card or another Christmas tag. Using my stencil and volume paste, I'm adding more texture and interest to my background. Just wiping away the excess, but I'm not really worried as it will be covered by Santa and the die cut ephemera. Now I'm going to ink the edges of my die cuts, so the white edges will be covered, and I'm going to glue Santa slightly off center. I forgot to say that I used coffee dye ink to ink the edges. Now I'm going to start layering my pieces. I'm going to be using December 24 image, which I'm going to glue under Santa, and the My Wishlist image. As you can see, I use Santa as my focal point and two smaller matching die cuts to complement Santa, my focal point. Now I'm going to add the sentiment Christmas Dreaming under Santa's feet. I'm also going to add the holly with the berries die cut on the top edge of my sentiment. I think it looks good. And now I decided to add a bit more texture using my volume paste as like a snow paste, and adding it a little bit berries around my sentiment under the trees. And now I'm going to add the new ice and beads paste from Stamperia that I wanted to try to give it some shine. So I'm going to add it on my snowy trees, under the sentiment, and around the edges. Let's look at a close-up. Okay, look at that shine. Isn't it fantastic? Now I'm going to add some around the edges, around Santa, on top of the snow, wherever you want shine. Adding more to the trees, around the top edges, and a bit of shine on Santa. Let's continue with more die cut elements. I'm adding a cute candy cane under the wishlist letter image and another candy cane under the holly. I'm adding snowy details with the white contour liner around the edges to add depth and texture on the sentiment and on the candy canes. I added another smaller holly die cut to add one more layer. And I want you to know I'm using one packet of the Silent Night collection, the die cuts. Lastly, I'm going to glue the star die cuts from the Silent Night collection around my tag. And then I'm going to add more snowy details with the white liner. As you can see, I'm adding snowy details to the stars, to Santa, and to the other elements. To finish off, I added some twine and bells. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe for more mixed media inspiration. Thank you so much for watching and crafting along with me. And don't forget, there's a free printable template link and supply list in the description box under the video.